Let me show you that. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. Welcome back. Welcome to DevOps Batch 57. So before I start the session, I just want to give a quick recap on what's being covered in the previous session. So previous session, we discussed about what is a branch, why we need a branch, and what is a branching strategy that in the organizations that people follow is something we have extensively discussed for almost 30 minutes, 1 hour, because this is one of the most commonly asked interview question. And this is one of the most used practice in the industry. Okay, so we saw with a detailed note how each and every environment is tied up with this. And also when you are making any software, there are two types of strategies. One is promotion based strategy and another is release based strategy. And this is something the promotion based strategy. So yeah, let's try to get started on it. Okay. So before I proceed, so few people are asking Ansible Galaxy. So Ansible Galaxy is not at all used. Okay. So Ansible Galaxy is nothing but predefined modules. So for example, whatever the tasks that are needed, like database installation, okay, for everything, the collections are that are already available. So for example, I would like to create, okay, database, okay, MongoDB, okay, and there are some, okay, install MongoDB. You come here and look at this, okay. So there are some MongoDB tasks that are already available, but it might not suit your purpose. Okay, Ansible Galaxy is predefined modules that are available that are ready to consume, but each and every company has their own requirement. So you don't see anyone using it. And people usually use Ansible Galaxy as just a part of the learning, but in reality, as a part of your day-to-day job, you will never use it or see it. Okay. And you're also asking about Ansible Tower. Ansible Tower is a GUI edition of Ansible. Okay. So where you can run the jobs, you can configure the jobs, but on the Ansible Tower, you cannot do anything apart from Ansible. But if you use Jenkins, you can use it for anything. Okay, so Ansible Tower is also not at all used, so there is no point in spending time there. Okay, it's just an interface. That's it. Okay, Vinod?
Yeah, okay, Manoj. Yeah,
Okay,
one more question is like, what is the Ansible setup in your organization? That
sorry.
I missed it.
Mhm.
Ansible setup, will there be single Ansible server or any additional things? That is also
You
one more
attended the
question.
sessions, right? What do you think?
For now, there is only one single Ansible server.
Mhm.
That's it in
That's
our
it.
case.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
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 And again, the answer should be if someone asks you what is the Ansible setup in your organization, you need to say we are using pull based mechanism or push based mechanism. You need to say one thing and then you need to stick accordingly. I also mentioned when to use push and when to use pull. If you decided to say that if in your organization, if you are using dynamic infrastructure where infrastructure scales up, scales down automatically, so maintaining infrastructure is not going to be a possible task. So at that time, what we are going to do, we are going to use
Cool.
pull mechanism. So can you answer that now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, Manoj.
All right, no worries, guys. And also, if you look at this, I have published Ansible related questions. Okay, so please feel free to go through these questions and try to draft answers based on your understanding. Please only go through the questions once you're done with the practice. Okay, and in case if you don't find anything, just try to explore and feel free to reach me. Okay, but I want you to explore it. Okay, that just the only reason why I give you questions is I want you to think and draft your own answer. All right, clear. Perfect, guys. Okay. All right. If you're interested about Ansible Vault, let's talk about it tomorrow, not today. Okay. Let's not waste time on it because we are going to use something advanced by using Secret Manager. It is a centralized secret management solution. If you use secrets or sensitive information on Ansible Vault, only your Ansible Vault can handle. But in reality, in any organization, it's not just Ansible. You'll have Ansible, you'll have Jenkins, you'll have Docker, you'll have Terraform, you'll have Kubernetes, a lot of things. So you need to have a solution that can be honored by any of the tools. That's where we use centralized secret management solution. That's something we're gonna see. Okay. All right. So Venkat, can you unmute yourself? If you're speaking, I cannot hear you. I could see you on mute. Okay, Venkat, there is a audio issue from your end. Yeah, please check, or if you have any questions, just to message me. All right. So this is the promotion strategy. Okay, we also have another strategy called as a release strategy. So before I go to the release strategy, we'll talk something interesting. Okay, let me try to go to batch 57. 1 second. I think tomorrow session, yesterday's session is 30, right? Okay, S30. It's going to be S30, not S28. All right. Okay, so we discussed that there are two types of strategies whenever you want to make any software. Okay, so there should be some strategies. One strategy that we discussed is promotion strategy. And in promotion strategy, we mostly used Git checkout. How do you switch from one branch to another branch? How do you create one branch by taking other branch as a reference? And how do you raise a pull request? And how do you merge it? That's it we see, right? There are also some very, very, very nice and important options that you should be aware. Okay, in Git. So before I proceed with Git branching strategy of promotion, so let's try to discuss more about Git commands, certain Git commands. Okay, same topic in multiple strategies, it would be light overwhelming. So I'll try to talk something related to Git. Okay, so that it will be interesting. Okay, most useful Git options. Most optional options on Git. Okay, so you need to go through this that I have attached. Okay, all the Git commands that are discussed. Okay, so yeah, you can come here and try to look at this. You should be able to see most of it. So I have attached it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about one of the most useful and most needed options on your day-to-day job. Okay, so it should start with git pull versus git fetch. Let's start with this. Okay, for example, I have a repository called as, okay, for example, let's try to consider this. Okay, so maybe what I would like to do is we can also consider Ansible as a repository. Okay, so for example, what I would like to do is let's go to Ansible. Okay, cd to Ansible. Okay, code Ansible. All right, so let me try to open that repository. Okay, I would like to talk and I would like to discuss more on it. So before I proceed further, anyone has any questions on any of the topics? Okay, if not, I want to talk about Git more today. Okay, all right. So for example, guys, okay, what I would like to do is I would like to take one repository. Let me try to extract a repository. Uh, 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 what I would like to do is I would like to import a repository, and the name of the repository that I would like to import is shipping. Okay, okay. So catalog, and I would like to import it to my repository. In your case, you don't get this owner option. Okay, so I assume that we have this repository. Okay, fine. I'm beginning the repository. Now what I would like to do is I would like to clone the repository. No repos. Okay, all right. So stance. Guys, today's session is very important with respect to the git commands. Okay, git is an ocean. I'm not going to talk anything rubbish. I'm only trying to talk something that is needed and one of the most commonly and highly used, and where most of the people do mistakes. Okay, so if you don't know this, okay, you will be landing into some unwanted issues. Okay, so let me try to get that cleared for you. Okay, so let's show you with some practical examples. Why? Let's do one thing, cart. Okay, let it clone. It's fetching the repository from that repository to this repository. Okay, perfect. Now do a git clone of it. Done. Now code cart. Okay, in which branch you are in right now? Let's start from there. Okay, so for example, right now I am in which branch? Okay, let's see. Click on the terminal. Okay, as an engineer, okay, as a DevOps and cloud guy, you don't deal more than needed on git. Okay, as a part of your day-to-day operations, you do whatever is needed. Okay, so here right now git branch is a command that tells you in which branch you're in. Okay, for example, I would like to switch to git checkout dev branch. Okay, now what I would like to do, git checkout -b dev, that is going to create a branch by taking main as a reference. Okay, that means from the current branch, right now the current branch is main. So when you say git checkout -b dev, it is going to create a branch from the main branch. Okay, now add it. Now see which branch you are in. Git branch, you are on development branch. Okay, now I would like to do all the changes on the top of this. For example, on the top of the server.js, I would like to do some changes. Okay, for example, I would like to say Prometheus hyphen client hyphen library, something I have added. Now, whenever you did some changes or whenever you want to make some changes, you need to tell Git to start tracking. And that's the reason you need to say git add dot. This will start tracking all the changes. You can also check the status of what are all being tracked and what are all not being tracked. Okay, you can see this. Can you see this? Git status says, okay, Git is tracking this file server.js. Okay, server.js. That means some changes are made and on the top of this file. For example, you try to make some changes here. Okay, for example, you try to make some changes here on the top of the README file. Okay, so saying that this service is written on Node.js. Okay. Now I didn't add git add dot. That means it will still be on your working directory. If you say git stash, it says, hey, I could see that README file is modified, but since you have not told me to start tracking it, I'm not tracking it. So you need to track it. Okay, then only Git will start tracking it. Okay. Now I did some changes. I would like to say git commit -m updated the Prometheus library client. Done. This is one change. Okay, fine. Now again, I would like to do some changes. Okay, what is the change that I would like to do? Okay, I would like to do some changes on the top of it. Error. Okay, no test cases. For example, no spaces specified for cart. Something I'm mentioning. Okay, so I would like to say git add package.json, git commit -m updated the package file with cart. And whatever the changes that I'm making is changes that can be remembered. Okay, so for our understanding, so let me try to git commit -m updated the no test cases. What is a test case? We'll talk about it. Done. Okay. Now I want to do one more change here on the top of this. Okay. So, okay, ensure you install Java. Let's say, for example, only for CentOS 7. I'm also adding some comment. So I'll say git add readme.md. Updated the readme file. Done. Okay. Now I would like to see, okay, I would like to see the commit history. Okay. So usually you land into a situations, for example, you only do pushes to the version control system only if you feel confident. For example, you made total 3 changes, and out of the 3 changes, commit 1, commit 2, commit 3, you made some changes and you committed it, you got a commit ID, but that is causing issues. You made lot of changes in the files, but you know that your application is not working because of the changes that you made, and you want to go back to the previous commit. How can you go back? How can you go back? So for example, if you want to see the list of commits, okay, and if you know the commit ID or if you know the commit comment, you can go back. Okay, git log is a command that tells you the list of all the comments. Okay, right now there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 commits are there. Right now, 4 commits are there. You can see updated the README file and updated the no test cases comment and updated the Prometheus client library. Okay, and that's the reason I was keep on saying you need to make sure whatever the comments that you are making should have meaningful comment. Okay, because it's impossible to remember this, right? So these comments will help you. I want to make sure I would like to go back to this no test cases, this one. Okay, now you can go back. Okay, so there are two ways. Okay, permanently going back, or you want to switch between the comments. Okay, I would like to switch between the comments. For example, 10 o'clock I made one commit, 11 o'clock I made one commit, and 12 o'clock I made one commit. 12 o'clock things are working fine after making some changes, but you want to go back at 11 o'clock and see whether some changes that you made were working or not. Okay, so you can go back. Again, if you want to come back, you can come back. Okay, so what you can do is you can use something called as git checkout. Okay, rather than branch name, you can mention the commit. Okay, now come here and you went back. So what it says is you updated the package.json this readme file. Can you see this? Okay, no, not this, not this, not this, server.js. Can you see this? Prometheus client library, you went back, right? Now for example, again, now if you look at this, you went back, but if you come and try to see git branch, you're not in the branch at all. Okay, and now, earlier your branch was dev, now you are no longer on branch, you are on a commit against a specific commit. Okay, and this is a commit, and you just went back to the previous commit, but your head, which is nothing but the last version or the last commit of your repository, is still there only. So you just switched back. For example, if you want to go back to another commit, okay, you can also do that. Git log. For example, now I would like to go to this one. Okay, updated the Prometheus client library. All I can do is copy this and say git checkout. You went back to this. So previously head, which is nothing but the git point was against this. Now it moved to this. Okay, this says updated the Prometheus library. Okay, now if you go here and try to look at this, you went back to the previous version. All right, so this is how you can switch between it. Okay, now for example, if you are having 100 commits, going through everything is a quite painful job. So what you can do is you can also do git log -n 3. That means it's gonna show only the last 3 commits. It's gonna show you only the last 3 commits. Okay, so for example, it is just showing me the commits, but I also want to see what this commit has done. What this commit has done. How can I see that? Okay, you can use something called as -state -p. Okay, git log -n not state stat. Okay, now it's gonna tell you what each and every commit has done as well. Okay, so for example, you go here, it says this commit ID is okay this, and it has done some changes on the top of the Jenkins file. Okay, so go to the top, so go to the top, and if you look at this, Okay, this is a commit updated the Prometheus client library, and the values that were done changed were on the top of the README file. And here, if you look at this commit ID says something got changed on the top of this. Okay, now if you want to go back to this, and if you like this, it's very simple. All you need to do is you just need to copy that commit ID, and then you need to say, hey, I would like to go to that particular commit. Okay, for example, if you want to go back, you can say this, or for example, if you want to go back to this, you can say you're just switching. Okay, you're not really changing anything. Okay, I'm interested about moving to this. Okay, done. Now git branch, you're still against a commit but not on any branch. Git checkout, can you see this? Now you are in a different branch. Now you move to a different. Earlier no test specified, right? Now we have mentioned no test cases specified, it moved to the previous commit. Now, okay, you did all the testing. 10 o'clock changes you tested, 11 o'clock changes you tested, 12 o'clock changes you tested. Now you just switch back to the branch. Okay, git checkout dev. Okay, now the previously head position was at this. Okay, what do you mean by head? For example, if this is your branch, okay, usually head is nothing but if someone tries to clone the repository, what it is going to clone? What is it going to clone? From where is it going to clone? So right now by default in any of the repository, this is the head. If someone clones this, whatever the changes that are committed here, everything will be downloaded. Okay, but what we are doing is git checkout is going to move the pointer from head to anywhere. Okay, but this is temporary. Now this is how you can play and move between different commits by using git checkout. Manoj, what if I want to go to the previous commit? I really want to go back. Whatever the change I did, I don't know, but I messed something up. I just want to go back to the previous version. For example, git add package.json. I would like to say no test cases are defined for cart. Okay, so I would like to say git package.json, git commit, updated the dot json. Okay, perfect. Now what I want to do is I just want to go to the previous. Okay, I just want to go to the previous commit. So how can you go back to the previous commit? Okay, the answer is git log again, or you can also do something. You can also do something called as okay. Uh, what do you need to do? Okay, what you need to do is okay. Let's not worry much. Okay, so git log. Okay, and here updated the server.json, and the commit that you have given is this one, right? Updated the server.json. I would like to go back to the previous version. You can simply go back to the previous version by using this. Okay, or git log hyphen n 2. Okay, this is the current commit and this is the previous commit. I want to go back to the previous state. Okay, git reset is a command. See, you are erasing what is been right now and you are moving back to the previous state permanently. Okay, you need to say hyphen hard. Okay, that's it. Can you see this? You went back to the previous state. Okay, this is how you move between commits, and this is how you move between the commits, and this is how, if you don't want and if you want to go back to the previous version, this is how you can deal. Whatever I'm talking, okay, everything I have enclosed on the top of this repository in a very detailed note with the detailed comments. Okay, starting from here. Okay, I promise you that I'm gonna mention Git in a very best possible approach. I'm making sure that things are clear. Okay, in case if you don't understand, please let me know. Because you don't deal these complex things, but at the same time in interview, if someone takes your interview, if they ask you how do you go to the previous commit, and if you don't mention it, they think that you never worked on Git, because these are very quite basic operations. Okay, now next important thing is git stash. Okay, so git stash is okay, for example, you are working on, okay, you are working on development branch. Okay, for example, right now you are in which branch? Git branch. Okay, right now you are working on a development branch. Remember this point. Okay, right now you are working on a development branch and you're doing some work. So for example, uh, git add, git add, readme. Okay, now what I would like to do is I'm just saying these are the files or the content that's added to demonstrate git stash. Okay, you are working on your local branch. Okay, done. And you are also doing some changes like Prometheus client library. This tells if this is something, if this is not needed, Prometheus won't work. Okay, something. And you're doing some lot of changes as a developer or anyone. Okay, now when you're doing these changes, you have not committed it. Okay, because you're this is still a work in progress aspect. Okay, right now you're in the branch, development branch, and you're doing some changes, and the activity and whatever the intention or your development that you want to make is not yet completed. But all of a sudden your manager called you and asked you, hey, can you please work on the main branch on this particular thing? Now, your work should not be wasted, right? What we typically do is we do a git stash. What git stash does is it's going to save you the partially saved content, or it's going to save the content that is not yet committed. So if you say git stash, okay, so the saved the working directory with a state with order on this. That means whatever the content that you have made was saved. Now you can go back to check out main and you can do whatever the work you want. Okay, so for example, I say your manager said that add the content here. Okay, so RoboShop, this is a Node.js 18 based service. Okay, you need to, your manager has asked you to work on this branch to add this comment. Okay, done. So I did this, did commit -m, updated the readme dot md. Done. Now you can switch back to dev. Okay, you can switch back to dev. Now here you have made a lot of changes, right? You have made a lot of changes. All the changes that you have made that were not committed, where they went, you can say git stash show. Okay, it's going to show you. So these two files are all, these two files are saved. Okay, now whatever the changes that you made before you switching, if you want to get them back so that you can resume your work, you can do something called as git stash pop. You will get your changes back. Okay, so that you can happily resume your work rather than reinventing the wheel. Does it make sense? Any questions, anyone? Now I'm going to commit. Okay, things are working fine. All right, so 1 second. Clear? Any questions on this, anyone? So these are very, very important. Okay, you go to any interview or anything. So these are so one of the most commonly asked. Clear, guys? All right. So the next important thing is cherry pick. Okay, what do you mean by cherry pick? Okay, what do you mean by cherry pick? Okay, let's try to go back and try to understand this. Okay, so for example, there are some changes. Okay, maybe we can use the same diagram that we have. Okay, don't worry about any of the commands, guys. Okay, if you know the concept, that's fine, because no one cares your memory, because you have ChatGPT, Gemini, you get information on the flash of your hand. Okay, on the snap of your hand. So remember the concept. You don't have to by heart or memorize anything. So what do you mean by cherry pick? Okay, cherry pick is like, okay, I have a change on the top of my stage. Okay, so for example, I have a branch. Okay, I have a commit on a staging repository. Now I want to apply this particular change that was made to my development branch. What you can do is cherry pick. Okay, you can do a cherry pick here. That means you can tell I would like to apply this commit on the top of this branch. You can do that. Okay, so cherry pick is like taking a commit of your choice from a branch of your choice and applying it to a branch of your choice in the same repository, and this process is called as cherry picking. Okay, clear guys? And this is called as a cherry picking. Trust me, you find in internet different answers, different way of examples. This is the source of truth. Consider this. Okay, so cherry pick means whatever the changes that you wish, you can pick it from any of the branch. For example, I would like to go to main. Okay, so for example, on the main branch, you made a bug fix. Made a bug fix. For example, you made a bug fix where you made a bug fix. Okay, so you made a bug fix here. Okay, something like, okay, redis hyphen dev dot roboshop dot internal, and this one also you're just doing it. Assume it like a bug fixing. Okay, so or any commit of your choice. Okay, git add systemd git commit hyphen m updated the systemd file with the DNS details. Okay, for example, this is a change that you want to apply onto the dev branch. You know what you can do? It's very simple. Just copy the branch. Okay, no, git log hyphen and one. Okay, and what is the commit that you want to update? And this is the commit, right? Now what you can do is copy this. Okay, now switch to the branch of your choice. In our case, I would like to apply to dev. Okay, simple git cherry hyphen pick. That's it. Can you see this? You're on the branch. See, right now for the demonstration purpose, I have just given you one example, one file. What if the commit that you're making is a cumulative of 10 files? What if you made 10 files and made a single commit? And what if all the 10 files, 10 changes that you want to bring from X branch to Y branch? It's a big task, right? But cherry pick helps you in getting the branch changes from a branch of your choice to the branch of your choice. Okay, clear? Does it make sense? Clear, guys? As a DevOps and cloud guy, you don't do cherry picking, all these things. You do things in a hard way. But if you know these things, you can do things in a more efficient way. You don't waste time. Okay. When I started my career, I don't know anything like these smart shortcuts. Okay. I used to waste a lot of time and going back, fetching, commit history, checking all these things. But these things will help you quite easy. Okay. In interview, if they ask you something and if you try to answer things in this approach, okay, people will be impressed. Okay. So we discussed about what is git pull. Git pull is going to pull the changes. Okay. And it's going to apply. Then what is this git merge? What is this merge? So git merge is like, okay, earlier we have done a pull request, right? Okay, so earlier what we did, we raised a pull request from here to here. What do you mean by pull request? That means the changes that are available in this branch, we are pushing it to this, we are merging into this, right? So similarly, git merge is something that will be done on your local git. Okay, for example, you have some changes, uh, git checkout main. Okay, now you're doing some changes. Let's say I'm adding some changes. Let's say Jenkins file. Okay, something. I'm just doing something. Don't worry about this. This is just a dummy commit. Okay, lint checks, test checks, and I'm also adding one more stage. Okay. Git add Jenkins file, git commit hyphen m, adding stage 2. I'm just doing some changes. The change can be anything. So now checks. Okay, git add Jenkins file, git commit hyphen m, adding stages. Okay, now done. Now git checkout dev. Now, okay, for example, this is a use case. This is the use case. Now the use case is, okay, when do you use the git merge? Okay, for example, early morning 8 o'clock. Remember, early morning 8 o'clock, for example, you have created this branch. Remember this carefully. If you don't follow these approaches, it wastes your time during your job. At 8 o'clock, you have created a branch. From where you have created a branch? You have created a branch from this main branch. Okay, done. You did some changes. You did some changes. And here, time by the time third commit, time is 12 a.m. And by the time someone has merged the changes. Okay, some other guy by some other means has done some change. Okay, that means whatever the now you're trying to add some content on the top of this branch, but whatever the code that you have taken at 8 a.m. from the main, and whatever the code that you have hidden, and whatever the code that is available on the main were different. Okay, so what you need to do is you always need to fetch the changes. I'm using a new word. You always need to, for every 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours, if it is an active development project, you need to fetch the changes from this branch and see whether you need those changes or not. You need to apply it. Okay, so what git pull is doing? Okay, what git pull is doing? Git pull, what it is doing is downloading the changes and merging it. Agree? The moment you do a git pull, whatever the changes that are there, they are downloading and they are applying, right? Agree? But if it is git fetch, it's not like that. Okay, git fetch, what it does is it just downloads the changes. Yes. Okay, if you want, you can apply them. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, so for example, okay, for that, first I would like to show you git merge. Okay, so right now, you are in which branch? You are in branch dev. Remember this point? Now I saw there are a lot of deviations. Now what I would like to do is I would like to get all the changes that are available in the main branch to the dev branch. How can I do that? So whatever the branch that you are expecting the changes is in dev branch. What you can do is you can run this command git branch git merge main. Okay, so for example, I want the changes that are available in the main branch to be merged into the dev branch. So ensure you are in the dev branch. Okay, so I'm already in the dev branch as I mentioned, git branch. Okay, now I want the changes that are available on the main branch. If you see in the main branch has two stages, now I want two more stages, right? Git merge main. So whatever the changes that are available in the main branch will be merged to the dev branch. Can you see this? Okay, what happened? Your local changes of the following files. Okay, 1 minute. I think done. Now do a git merge main. Okay, can you see this? The changes that are there on the top of the main branch came to your development branch. So I want to take a pause to make sure whether you understood this concept or not. Are we clear on this? Anil, are you clear? Alex, China, Mithil,
Yes,
Shashikala?
ma'am. I'm clear on this kid things.
Okay, perfect. So does it make sense, right? So this is something that we do on a day-to-day basis, right, Anil?
Yeah, we use that you IDs gets and command also both.
Exactly. I think Anil is a Java developer. So I think, yeah, Anil, I think this is what we do on a day-to-day basis, right? When you join any company.
Yes, almost.
Yeah. So these are very important shortcuts. Okay. If you don't know this, okay, you spend a lot of time, okay, in going back and forth. So as a part of something, for example, you wrote a playbook and that worked at 10 o'clock. And after 3 commits, you mess something and it's not working. And your manager says that, hey, I think a 10 o'clock pipeline successful. Go back to that. You don't know. So it will be a mess. So you need to go look the commit history, go back. It's a painful job. Okay, if it is a multiple files. If you know the shortcuts, things are easy and things are, I mean, knowing it makes things easy. Okay. Any questions? Chinna, Patik, Pratik, Shaurabh, Shashikala, are we clear on it? Okay. All right. Now the next important thing that I would like to talk about is, okay, I would like to talk about is git fetch. Okay. Now what I would like to do is I would like to go to main branch. Okay. Okay. Git add dot commit done. Okay. Now I'm in the main branch. Git branch. I'm in the main branch. Let me try to make a git pull. Okay. Now what I would like to do is, for example, I would like to create a branch. Okay. So git checkout feature hyphen 001. Okay, I'm creating a branch and the name of the branch is feature 001. From where am I creating? I'm creating from the main branch. Okay, fine. Now I have created it from the main branch. Okay, now you're doing some changes. Okay, you're doing some changes. For example, you're doing some changes. Okay, so you're doing some changes on the top of this branch, and whenever you're using it, it's always recommended to see what's going on. For example, if you have checked out a branch at 10 o'clock, try to see at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock if someone has already published the changes to the main branch or not, because you have created a branch from the main branch. And if your changes are taking a lot of time, as a part of the parallel development, others would also be publishing it, right? So what exactly do I mean? Okay, again, coming back to the same diagram, if you checked out the branch at 8 a.m. and if you are working till 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, okay, and if someone has already updated these branches, okay, whatever the code that is available here and here would be different. So it's always recommended you download, you fetch the changes that are happening on the branch, main branch, and then you try to add them and then publish, so that you don't enter into something called as merge conflicts or commit conflict. Okay, what exactly do I mean? Let me show you that. For example, I'm on the top of feature branch. Okay. Now what I would do is I have, from where I have taken this branch, anyone? Venkat, from where I have checked out this branch? Venkat, from where I have checked out this branch? Anyone? Venkat?
Main branch.
From dev.
No.
Main.
You was branch, right?
From
main.
main. We have taken it from main.
From main.
Exactly. Now I would like to switch to, okay, I would like to switch to main branch. Okay, assuming it like some other user, I just want to say that I'm doing some changes. Okay, npm install generates the artifacts. Okay, git add readme, updated this. Okay, and then I also want to update one more file. Okay, Prometheus file. Something. Okay, I'm also updating git add server.js git commit -m, updated the server.js file. Okay, done. Okay, now I also push the changes. Done. Perfect. Now I'll switch to, okay, feature 001 branch. That means I have created a branch from main. Okay, and the name of the branch is 001. And after that, someone has done some changes on the top of the main branch. Now you are about to push. Now you want to check. Okay, now you want to check whether the changes that are made are available or not. Okay, for example, you're doing this. So git add systemd git commit updating the systemd. Done. Now you are in the feature branch, right? Now you are about to do a git push. Now, if you do a git push, you'll get any issues because the code that you have taken and the code that you have added, before you push it to the branch, there are some changes that are already made on the main branch. Now you need to take the changes from that main branch. Okay, how do you do that? First, try to fetch the code. So git fetch origin is a command. Now what it is going to do, it is going to download the changes. Okay, it just downloads the changes. Done. Okay, now I want to validate. Okay, I want to check whether are there any changes that are happened on the main branch or not? If there are any changes that are happened on the main branch, I would like to absorb it. First, I would like to check. I did a git fetch origin, so I got all the changes. Whenever you're using Visual Studio Code, okay, you have these nice options that helps you make life easy. Okay, so what you can do is, so here, where is that option? One second, 1 minute. So let's try to install git lens. One minute. Come here and try to install git lens if you are on Visual Studio Code. Okay. Now what you can do is you can come here and try to install this git lens. Okay, it's a very nice option that makes life easy. Okay, so let's try to install git lens. Okay, it gives you some super functionality, so you don't have to use much. Okay, so done. Now since you have installed this, okay, git lens, you got some nice options. Okay, can you see this? Everything, but yeah, this is some advanced view, so let's not worry on it. So I have installed the git lens. Now you did a git fetch, right? Now at the top right, top left, there is an option called as source control. Select the source control. Okay, now here, since you have selected the source control, okay, 1 second, you have some options called as branches and commits. Okay, now you can see what are the changes that are happened. For example, I'm interested about knowing what are the changes that are happened on the main branch. Okay, can you see this? It says 4 minutes back. Can you see this here on the origin? 4 minutes back some changes were happened. And what is that change? Come here and try to look at this. It does a validation. So on the main branch, npm install was there. Okay, but someone has changed that value to npm install to generates artifacts. That means whatever the value that is there on main and whatever you have on your feature branch are different. That means you need to get the changes from the main branch to the feature branch. Now I'll ask you, how can I get the changes from the feature branch? I mean main branch to the feature branch. Anyone? Anyone?
You need to pull the main branch code to the feature branch.
Uh-huh. What is the other option with which
First,
we have used? Can we use git merge?
yeah.
Git merge? What do I need to say? Apart from Anil, don't say. I want to get the changes from the main branch to the feature. How can I do that?
-B.
Soumya? Okay, one more. Raja?
Yeah, I guess git merge origin main.
That's it. Main. Okay. All right. So, Chinna, what's going on? Can you tell me why should I do this? Okay. Now readme file is updated and server.js file is updated. Now git add dot commit, and you can come here and try to look at this files, and these files have all the details. Okay, sample is something that I have updated. Okay, and our package server.js is also something I have updated. Now I can push. Okay, perfect. You got the changes, and this is how you can move between the changes, and this is how you can pull the changes. Okay, what is the difference between git pull and git fetch? Git pull is just like download the changes and applies the changes. Okay, download that and merge the changes. Well, git fetch just download the changes, but it's not going to merge. Using the git lens and other tools, you can check whether the changes are there or not. If there are changes, you can do a git merge. What do you mean by git merge? Git merge is like taking the changes from X branch and applying it to the Y branch. Okay, fine. Then what is cherry pick? Cherry pick is like taking a commit from X branch and applying it to a Y branch. Then what is the difference between git merge versus git pick? Cherry pick. Git merge is like whatever the changes that are available on, irrespective of the commit or commit history, everything would be coming up from X branch to the Y branch. While cherry pick is not like that. From the X branch using the Y commit, you take the changes from there and apply it here. Okay, well, git reset is like, okay, if you want to go back to the previous version or previous commit, it is a permanent change, you can use git reset. So git checkout is like switching between the branches or switching between the commits. Any questions on this, anyone? Whatever we discussed, it's a 150 pages notes. Everything I explained in a detailed note, including the examples. I want every one of you to be thorough on this because this is important. Any questions on this? Questions? All right. So guys, you want more topics today or you want to take a break? How many of you say that's enough for today? Shiva, Ganesh?
Yes, Manoj, I think we should go for more.
Anyone else?
Yes, Manoj, let's cover some more. We have half an hour.
Perfect. Good. All right. But are we clear so far? Whatever is being covered? All right. So I'm feeling to take a break for today. Because I want to make sure you guys are up to the date, because from tomorrow we are going to start a brand new topic. I want to make sure that you are thorough with what's being covered till now. Okay, I would like to take a pause for today. Yeah, go ahead. Someone is saying something.
Yeah, Manoj, if we get conflicts while merging, how to resolve that conflicts?
You need to resolve locally. When you get any conflict, you'll get a window here saying that incoming change or outcoming change. Which one do you need to accept? Okay, you need to accept which change you want. Okay, that means when do you get a merge conflict? Okay, that is a very good question. So let's try to answer that. When do you get a merge conflict? Let's ask. Okay, when do you get a merge conflict? So when do you get a merge conflict is if if we have checked out a branch from main, say feature -001. If you have checked out a branch from main, say 001, and we have updated a file called as server.js. Yes. Okay. Okay, and we are ready to push. Okay. And here, what is the value that I have updated is, for example, the value of A is equal to 10 is updated to A is equal to 30. Are we clear on this? Okay, A is equal to 10 is updated to A is equal to 30. And we are ready to push. Okay, so even before you push, okay, meantime, even before that, someone has updated the value to A is equal to 10 to 25. Okay, A is equal to 10 to 25 and push to main. Okay, now it will be confused. Okay, why it will be confused? Because the same file is updated by both two members and at the same time Git absolutely tells you, hey boss, whatever the values that I have given you when I had created the branch and the values were already updated by someone else. So I need to make sure which one is correct, whether the value A is equal to 25 is correct or A is equal to 30 is correct. You will get a conflict. Okay, so you need to say accept correct change. That means you need to say the value of A is equal to 30. You need to select that option, or accept the incoming change. That means you need to say, you need to acknowledge whatever the option that is available. Okay, that is called as a conflict. Okay, clear? Vinod, is called as a git conflict. Okay, it's also called as a merge conflict. Clear, guys? And if the changes are so worse, okay, It takes a lot of time. Typically, developers land into this conflict often because they deal with libraries, source files, and all. So, as per my experience, DevOps don't get into this merge conflicts or rebases, all these things. Okay, don't worry on it. But yeah, but this is what it is. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, Manoj.
All right. Yeah, let's cover something more. Okay, so we covered. Okay, we covered. Okay, so let's say we covered promotion strategy, right? We have covered promotion strategy. Okay, let's try to see a release or trunk based strategy. So anyone, what do you mean by trunk? What is a trunk? So for example, usually they're referring the animal trunk. So for example, trunk. So you take elephant. Okay, so for elephant, this part is called as a trunk, right? So let's take this. Oh, come on. Yeah, so this part of the elephant is called as a trunk. For one elephant, there will be only one trunk, right? Similarly, in one organization, there should be only one branch. And that's the reason they refer it as a trunk-based development. Okay, so release strategy or trunk-based model or tag-based approach, all of them are same. Okay, so in any of the organization, okay, software development. Could be either promotion strategy or a release strategy. Okay, yesterday we have seen promotion strategy. Let's try to deal with the release strategy. So all the conventional organizations where they were very much holistic about the approach that they're doing, where they don't want to take risk, where process matters to them more than the product, people go with the promotion strategy. But companies like Facebook, Google, all these companies, they have very high developer discipline, so they go with the release strategy. Okay, so what do you mean by the release strategy? Let's try to talk about that. Okay, okay, here we use something called as a tags. Okay, you need to be very much clear on it. What do you mean by tag? Okay, so let me try to draw you some nice diagram and let's try to get started from there. But yeah, thank you whosoever has mentioned. Let's have something more. Let's get started. Okay, yeah, why to waste time? All right, so let's come here and try to. Okay, so software development code release strategy. Okay, whenever we want to release one X version to Y version, it will be one among this, right? So code release strategy. So code release strategy, it will be either this or that. Okay, so one is promotion strategy, which we already seen multiple branches are involved. Multiple branches are involved, where branches are tied up to the environment. Another strategy is, okay, another strategy is release based approach. And in every organization, are there going to be both? No, it will be one. Okay, so a branching strategy across the organization or at least across the business unit, it remains the same. Okay, so again, this release strategy, what is the version that you are going to do, like Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 9, Windows 10, Windows 11. This is called as a versioning strategy. So again, here you have either automatic incrementing of the version or manual increment of the version. 95% of the times you will see the manual increment of the version. Okay, but yeah, let me show you that. Auto increment. And this is manual increment. Okay, so we would like to go with this manual increment of approach, because manual increment of approach will have better control. So I vote on going this, because if you're trying for a new roles, and if you say that in my organization we have a release strategy and if we are using auto increment of the version, people don't believe. Okay, so they'll understand that you're bluffing unless until you're coming from Google, Facebook, or Fang based. Okay, so this is one of the most commonly used approach, either this approach or this approach. We'll see both. Okay, now my very next question is, if you want to go with this approach, okay, we are not going to go with multiple branches. Okay, so here you're going to go with multiple branches, but in the release based approach, you are not going to entertain those many branches, because here for you process really doesn't matter. So all you're going to do is you'll have one single branch, and which is a main branch, that's also referred as a trunk branch. Okay, few people will call it as a main, few of them will refer it as a master, and few of them will refer it as a trunk. Okay, and what is a trunk based model? This is also the same. And don't tell in interviews that you're using trunk based approach. If they ask you, do you know trunk based approach, just say yes. Okay, all right, so yeah, companies like Facebook, Google, they uses this trunk based approach. So here what happens is, okay, let me try to explain this in detail. So here what it's gonna do is, for example, this is a commit. So I want to release some version. What I would like to do is, I would like to go I would like to check out a branch from this commit. Okay, so for example, the commit is XYZ123. Okay, now I would like to check out a branch from here, and then I would like to make some changes. Okay, I would like to make some changes. A lot of commits that I have made. Okay, I made a lot of commits, and then I have tested locally. Okay, for example, I have tested it on the top of my local environment and it is working fine. Now what I would like to do is, I would like to sandbox, and I would like to raise a pull request. Sandbox, okay, saying that this version is working fine. Okay, I would like to raise a pull request. Okay, and after careful examination, and if they feel that things are looking fine, what they're gonna do is they're gonna push your changes, and then and then since you're having only one branch, how do they come to know which version of software are you making? For example, if you wish to make it as xyz.123, so the next version is going to be 124. Okay, so this version, it doesn't mean that it goes to the production. Now using this artifact, okay, now whatever the software that you want to make, you can clone it from here, or clone it from here, or clone it from anywhere. Okay, what exactly do I mean? Okay, so earlier you are cloning from main branch and you are switching between the branches. Now you'll switch between the versions, and these versions are also called as tags. Every time you try to make a push, or every time you try to make a commit, it gives you some 30-digit code, right? That's also called as a git hash commit. So for example, you come here, this is not readable and we don't understand that, right? Because it is a 30 characters alphanumeric. You go to the commits, every time you make a change, okay, every time you try to make a change, see this, how big, how lengthy it is. Okay, so since it is not possible to remember them, what we are going to do is, we are going to create tags for each and every commit. Okay, what is a tag? What is a git tag? Okay, git tag is like wrapping a commit ID with a version or name is referred as a git tag. Okay, technically what a tag does, for example, you take a chocolate jar. Okay, chocolate jar with the tag example. Okay, for example, you take a chocolate jar. So for example, what this chocolate jar does, okay, so you know that it contains the chocolate, right? But for example, if you want to know what are the ingredients that are available in it, okay, how do you know what is this particularly? What do you understand just by looking at this jar? Can anyone anyone? This is a jar. It contains some chocolates, but what chocolates? It says hot cocoa mix, and the directions to use is still mix together to combine and add half cup of milk and then serve it, right? That means this is called as a tag, and the tag that is associated with the jar tells what is inside that. Similarly, a git tag is nothing but the version that we are going to give it to a commit, because the commit history, okay, each and every commit is not in a readable format. So for each and every commit, we are going to say, hey, this is version 01 or this is version 02. Likewise, we are going to label them. Okay, how do I do that? Let's see that. Okay, so here, rather than maintaining multiple branches, what we do is the moment we raise a pull request, and if the pull request is approved, immediately, okay, we'll try to mark it as XYZ2024. And every software, every version that you make will not go to the production. A clear example is Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 9 is not there, Windows 7, because Windows 9 is a flop model. Similarly, for example, you have made XYZ123, and this XYZ123, what we're gonna do is we'll test it on the top of the, okay, we'll test it, okay, we'll test it on the top of, example, this is prod, right? Same, okay, rather you having multiple branches, what we're going to do is we'll have a one branch and we generate one artifact and then we switch across the branches. Okay. Okay, so this XYZ 123 version, okay, what we would like to do is we would like to test it on the top of dev, and if it is working fine, we would like to go to int, okay, and if in int if it is not working fine, we'll gonna discard this, okay, and then we'll try to deploy another artifact 124. Okay, so here 124 is working fine. I would like to go to 124, and then I would like to go with 124. Okay, and again, if it is working fine, I would like to go with the 124. And if in QA, if it is working fine, if it is qualified, I'll try to mark this as a stable version. Okay, I'll try to mark it as a stable version. How do I come to know all these things, Mano? Whatever you're talking. And then once the PR is approved, immediately I'll even trash this. Okay, at any point of time in a trunk based model, you'll only see one branch and there is a main branch. Okay, now let me try to show you that. And another important point we should also be aware of it is versioning strategy. Okay, when you're releasing a software, each and every version that you make should have a version. Okay, uh, versioning strategy is quite important. So guys, the way how you answer these process oriented things define how confident, how well you know with the content that qualifies you on these aspects. Okay, so please ensure last two sessions are quite important. So that is the reason I'm trying to stress more on it with respect to process. Technology you learn anywhere in the internet, mark my words. Okay, getting started documentation of anything. But since I'm working, I know what's going on in the industry. I'm trying to convey things in a better format. The way you speak in the interview tries to convey, oh, this guy know these things. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so if you know this thing, you can talk more, you can buy more time. Okay, so if you know these process related things in interview, if you speak them, technically you're killing his time to ask you more questions. Okay, so that is nice technique. Okay, and these things will be very much soothing to listen though. Okay, and again, versioning strategy is quite important to every business, and it's based on their interests. Okay, but let's see some famous projects in the internet, and based on their usage, let's absorb. Let's try to adopt the high. Okay, so let's see Terraform. Let's take a famous project called as Terraform, GitHub plus HashiCorp. Go with their repository. Okay, so HashiCorp repository. Okay, HashiCorp is the name of the company. I'm interested about Terraform. Okay, so if you look at this, okay, there are 325 tags and 654 branches. Why these many tags are there? Okay, and if you look at this, okay, each and every version that they release, okay, they are having some version 1.7.5, version 1.7.4, okay, version 1.7.3, okay, and version 1.7.2, okay, and version likewise and like forth. Now, how do I come to know which version contains which features? Okay, typically if you go back, okay, usually all the mature organizations, okay, they follow something called as the releases. Click on the releases. And this gives you the opportunity, whatever the software, whatever the version of code that you want to download, you can download. Okay. So what they are saying, for example, previous release information is 1.7. Okay, for example, go to 1.7, and in the 1.7 there are a lot of releases. So they say 1.7.5. In the 1.7.5 they say they did some bug fixes. Okay, and bug fixes on S3 bucket. Okay, and a lot of things they have made, and they clearly mentioning what is the version is about. And in the version 7.7.4 174 on February 21 2024, they added some fixes for Terraform test. And again in 1.7.3, which is on Feb 7th, they did some fixes for this. Okay, that means if you look at this, they are following 1.7.4. Okay, so let's try to track it. So what Terraform is doing is, Terraform is going with. So we take lead. Okay, so we also need to have some versioning strategy. So let's try to take something which is highly used. All right, so here if you look at this, Terraform is going with this version x dot y dot z. Okay, what is this x dot y dot z? We'll see that. Okay, but let's try to understand what are the major companies that they are following. Okay, v hyphen. Now let's go with Jenkins, GitHub dot Jenkins. Let's take 3 companies and see what they are using, and we'll try to adopt accordingly. Even these guys are using tags, and if you look at this, go and click the tags. These guys are going with 2.451, okay, 2.4.0. Okay, they are following 2 versions, 2.440 and 2.454 and 2.449 and 2. This Jenkins is following this. Okay, Jenkins is following this. Jenkins is also following this. Jenkins is following both. Okay, but it really doesn't make sense to me. Okay, version A.B. All right. Now let's try to take Kubernetes. Kubernetes is also very, very big project. So let's try to say GitHub plus Kubernetes. Okay. And if you look at this, even these guys are following this versioning. When you say I worked in last 8 years or 9 years, so in your last few years, what all type of versioning strategies that you have used? This is one of the most commonly asked question if you are applying for senior positions. Okay, these guys are using 1.28.8. Okay, so even these guys are following with this. So let's try to, since majority of the companies are going with this approach, we'll go with this approach. And this approach is referred as a Git semantic versioning. Okay, and this versioning is called as a semantic versioning. What do you mean by this semantic versioning? That's the name of the versioning strategy. Okay. Okay. So what do you mean by this Git semantic versioning? Okay. So for example, if you take version hyphen 0.0.1, okay, typically when any software is released, they'll try to target this. So first version is called as a major version. Okay. It's called as a major version. We'll also go with this strategy. It's called as a major version. And this is called as a major. And the next thing is minor version. This one is called as a minor version. It's called as a minor version, and this is okay patch level or service upgrade. Okay, for example. Okay, whatever the softwares that we are going to make, we'll go with the semantic versioning. Okay, service upgrade or patch upgrade. Patch, fix, patch. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So for example, you are having version, okay, version hyphen o.o.1. Okay, so there are some fixes that needs to be done. That means there are some bugs in the application, or there are some enhancement. For example, you are upgrading from package X to Y. So you'll release a new version of the software and you'll try to target it as 0.0.2 because you're just patching the applications or the packages that are available, or you're just doing some minor fixes. For example, if you're adding some minor functionalities, like in the shipping, you have added some radio button, or you also added a drop down, very, very small features. If you are adding, you go with 0.1.0. Okay, you have upgraded this. Can you see this? Okay, so from then, for example, if you want to add any feature, okay, what you would be doing is 0.1.1.0, right? 1. And similarly, if you want to upgrade next version, similarly you'll go this. So for example, if you want to release one more new minor feature, you will start with this 1.2.0. Okay, so for example, you had some major version upgrade. Okay, like you're doing some major versions, like you're adding a dispatch functionality which we don't have right now. We are adding a ratings functionality for our application which we don't have. So you'll call that out as version 1.0.0. Okay, any value here starts with 0 and ends with 9 in typically, and this versioning strategy is called as a Git semantic versioning. Okay, clear? Any questions on this? Since majority of the companies are going with this, we'll also go with this. Okay, any questions on this? The versioning strategy is very, very important, and that's the reason I'm trying to stress this out. Okay, but Manoj, I don't know how to create these tags. Can you help me with that? Yes, let's do it. Okay, so cd to cart. Okay, so typically tags are something that will be created on the top of. Okay, so okay, so as many of the companies, as many of the open source projects. Semantic versioning. We will stick to that. Okay. Okay, this is how the versioning strategy works. All right, fine. Now, what's next? How to create a tag? Okay, remember, tags are something that will be created. Tags are only on the top of main branch only. Okay, because whenever you're using tags, that means you're going with the trunk based approach. You only need to create tags. You will only mark some version on the top of the tags only, on the top of the main branch only. How do you create tags? Okay, so for example, git checkout main. Okay, git branch, you're in the main branch. Okay, now git tags hyphen L. It's gonna show you, okay, it's not git tags, git tag hyphen L. It's gonna show you the list of tags. Okay, git tag hyphen L. Now what I would like to do is, okay, uh, git tag 0.0.1. Okay, so if you want to push it, git push 0.0.1. So, okay, not this, uh, hyphen tags. Okay, it's going to push the tags latest tag. Now tag 001 is going to be pushed. For example, here you would like to make some changes. So what you would like to do is, for example, vim readme. Okay, for example, or maybe what you're gonna do is echo version 0.0.2. Okay, you're making some software. Okay, cat. Okay, ls hyphen ltr. Now git add dot git commit. Okay, git add git commit hyphen m added. Assume that it is some file. Okay, git commit hyphen m. Now, okay, I would like to tag this particular commit. Okay, so git, I would like to tag this particular commit 0.0.2. Okay, what? Okay, you tagged it. Now I would like to push it. Done. Can you see this? So similarly, I would like to make some more changes. This time, what are the changes that I would like to make is, I would like to rename the file mv version 0022 version 003. Okay, and then I also want to change uh, something like this. Okay, and this is version, something like that. Okay, all right. Now, what I would like to do is commit. That I did some changes. Git add dot. I need to commit them. Now, whatever the commit that came up, I would like to tag it as okay 003. Now I would like to have an tags. Now, if you go to the cart and if you look at this, you should be able to see all the three cards. Let's go and see whether it is a statement of truth or not. Okay. Now, if you go here and if you try to see this, you have three tags. Okay. Now, if you want to download the code, you can download the code of this particular one itself. Okay, and if you want to download the code from here, you can download the code from here. So if you download, you'll get 002 code. If you download this, you'll get 003 code. For example, right now you are in which tag? Git tag hyphen L. Okay, so okay, any questions anyone so far?
No, Manas.
Any question? Questions. Any questions? Is it clear, guys? No coding, nothing. So just trying to understand, okay? Questions. Okay, for example, if you want to say git log, it'll also show you that. Okay, now you can clearly see this, okay? This commit, okay, this commit, okay, is the latest commit, and the logical name that is given to that is 003, and this is the commit, and the logical name that is given to that is 002, and this is the commit, and the logical name given to that is this. Okay, and if you want to see what are the changes that were made also, you can see -stat -p. It also shows you what all changes that you have made, and it says tag 003, you added this file, you updated this file. It says you added some content, and you also created a file. So in version 2, what you did also is showing. In the version 2, you added a file, and the name of the file is version 002 empty. Okay, and if you want to switch to any specific tag, okay, as I mentioned, so git log, okay, so git tag version hyphen, you can see git checkout. Technically they are commits, right? Version hyphen 0.0.2. Okay, you can do this. One second. Yeah, so it says 002, right? Sorry, I'm not using version. Okay, so you can switch to checkout, git checkout. I would like to go to 0.0.2. That's it. You moved. So head is now at version 002. And it clearly says earlier it is showing main branch. Now you switch it to the version 002. Clear? Any questions on this, anyone? For example, if someone marks version 002, 003, 001, out of that 002 is marked as stable, everyone tries to check out branches from this particular branch. Okay, git checkout. Okay, -b version 002 fix. All right, now you can see that this particular feature that you're testing is for the version 002, and it's a fix. And if it is working, you'll try to raise a pull request, and you'll try to mark it as, since it is a fix, you're gonna create a 003. Clear? Any questions, anyone? And if anyone asks you any questions related to Git, there won't be anything beyond and above this. Okay, any questions? Let me go by name. Alex, Anil, Ashifa, Vinod, Chinna, Ganesh, Mithul, Shiva
No question.
Kalyani, Raja, Shaurabh,
No
Soumya,
questions.
Venkat, Pratik, Sashikala. Are we clear on it?
Clear question.
No, Manoj.
Yes, Manoj. No question.
Trust me, you won't get anything beyond this, and it's not a practical thing to know everything. Okay, this is what it is. All right. In my last 12 years, I haven't seen anything beyond this as a cloud and DevOps guy. Okay, so it's more than enough. Please practice them. And again, I don't have to teach this much. I can straight away go hamper here and there, since we are not going to use much in reality. But if someone asks you these questions, I want to make sure you answer this in a very perfect way, because you can buy more time on this. Okay, clear, guys? Are we good? Hope it's clear. Hope it's interesting.
Yeah, Manoj.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Manoj.
Okay, and whatever we have covered, everything is enclosed in the Git notes, and day 31 I mentioned everything here. Just please feel free to refer to them. Okay, and that's it, and that's for today, guys. Okay, thank you very much. Signing off. Okay, thank you, guys. Any questions, anyone? Any questions, anyone? All right, and yeah, that's for today. Thank you very much for the motivation, and thank you very much for making me to push furthermore. And yeah, so please practice them. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. And that's for today. Thank you. Signing off. See you guys. Bye.